Hello, good morning. My name is Vita Sadanandan, and today is the 7th of April 2026, and the time is 6:48 a.m. The area of body we will be maintaining health by the Nirbeeja Yoga style is the region of the symphysis pubis. Now, that's the anatomical name medically, but the symphysis is the region where your pelvic girdle comes together in the front of your body, of the pelvic region, in a certain, mm, ju- it's not a juxtaposition. It's more coming together of the bones of the pelvic girdle to form a certain joint. But this is about the region where you generally tend to um, relate to as genitalia. Okay, while um, so there could be tensions about this region because it's a joint of the pelvic girdle in the front. It could be coming from tensions between the regions above the pelvis, which means the upper body, bearing down on the pelvic girdle, but also from how you sit, then in some way compressing the pelvic girdle. So this joint has a certain tension. And this tension then has an effect on muscles around there, which would also be your genitalia, um, external genitalia, apparently. But this is the region where we tend to relate with a certain tension. Mm. Sometimes people tend to relate it as a certain, well, there are many affects about this area. A loaded gun, so to speak. Does that would um, practices like masturbation, would that relieve the tension about the symphysis pubis? Kind of interesting, a thought. But is that also why people masturbate? That's also a thought. But you get the idea of where um, about is the region that we are talking about. And, but importantly, it's about how do we maintain health of this area and why do we need to maintain health of this area? Because when you're um, sitting, now just like how people refer to chakras, so to speak, they refer to it as though it's something present in the front of the body, as if the back of the body does not have chakra effects. Yeah, like chakras are something in the front of the body. Pictures also depict it kind of this way. Um, Most popular, at least the ones that I have seen, tend to show them in the front. Solar plexus, the ajna, the heart chakra, for example, sacral chakra, and the Muladhara being about the region of the perineum. But the symphysis pubis is more a joint in the front. Now, at the back of the pelvis would be your tailbone to form a certain um, 4 point. Your sits bones would offer a certain point of contact. When you're sitting, these bones would stick out so you can feel your sits bones. Then you have the hip joints, the left and right sides. And then you have the symphysis pubis in the front as a point. And then you have your tailbone at the back, kind of like a point. So, and then you also have the top of your pelvic girdle to form like the two top points where where you sometimes can also tend to place your hand when you're in a when you're standing in a position of power with your arms on your waist and then your legs a little shoulder width apart. maybe a little more than, okay. And then a little more than shoulder width apart. I think so. But then you could overdo the posture. Yeah. But at least having your feet being stable enough such that you can stand upright without you being uncertain in some way. Um, we are sometimes like this giraffe or a deer who are just freshly born, newborn. They have gangly feet, a little too long, it seems, for their body. And so they stand in such a way that, the legs are a little um, wider than their body's width. Yeah. So is that what has us feel a little powerful? Otherwise, we feel like stick figures walking on, just two sticks called legs and feel less powerful unless we have developed other capabilities by which to have a sense of I have, yeah, and then keep our head up because the base is a little more stronger, like a pyramid. I wonder sometimes. But are we that young a species that we sometimes need to um, take a wider stance, apparently, to have a sense of I have, while our body is designed to, like a fish standing on its tail, yeah, and not hop, but to walk. The mermaid story. Mermaids apparently swam from the sea and then were so enamored by creatures on earth that that they wished for legs, yeah, and then ever since it's been painful to walk on legs because it's not a natural thing to them, and then over time, so there are these kinds of stories about the mermaid, the Little Mermaid, the story about it. Now, so there is this joint about the pelvis, the hip bone, hip joint, and the region about the pelvis, which has been having pain points left, right, front, back, up, down, between the ischium, yeah, the pelvic girdle rings on top, and the sits bones up, down, in, out. Well, depends on the center of gravity and the weight bearing down from the upper body and the lower body, and how the lower body supports the pelvic girdle is also how you have pain points, maybe in and out. Yeah. But maintaining the center of gravity and how do you maintain your posture such that it's not painful anywhere in your body while we are in different stages of becoming a humane being, which means evolution continues, would also be why sometimes people are not aware of their body because it would be sometimes otherwise painful. Yeah. Um, One of the ways by which to reduce some of the pain, existential and growth pain, because bones are always growing. Yeah, they also call this growing up pains. Yeah. So there would be sometimes this tension all the time that people don't pay attention to pain. We kind of go a little oblivious to it. One of the ways is by your having a posture where your body structures support each other and then can also take support of, say, a chair or the standing surface, for example. So then your feet would need to be strong enough or to work with your existing structure such that you can take the least painful posture. And when you're more anatomically aligned and you're working with the gravity and you're working with the muscular composition, left and right, front and back, up and down, there comes this place of balance where it's least difficult, having the least pressure, and the most light, as in weight reduced. That's also enlightened posture. For that, having a fine balance between your bones and muscles and spaces, left and right, front and back, up and down, in and out, then brings about a certain appreciation of your bodily structure, which is light but also balanced and aware between where you are. If you're closing your eyes, you can still feel your internals, you cannot still feel your externals. And you are then having awareness of the different bony structure, not just of one part of the body, but as though you have a sensory feel of your entire bony framework. And then correspondingly, your muscle, because the bones would be more denser, and then feeling your muscles, and then noticing your skin, which is when you can, in some way, a little more warm up too, because skin is a finer network. You are more connected to a network sometimes that then allows for you to range your awareness, your balance between your bony awareness, which may be having growing up pains, and your skin, which then maintains a trapeze, so to speak. It's not necessarily a tightrope walk, but like you're walking on a um, fabric, yeah, which is kind of stretched. No, if you are more aware of the network, so to speak, that then maintains fine relationship between your cells, your tissues, your organ systems, and your externals, where you also need to be aware because there will be changing temperature, changing moods of people. There will be, say, um, emotional states, mental thought processes, environmental influences. There are birds singing. There are happy people. There are so um, a slight barometer, so to speak, also becomes possible, where you're noticing different kinds of pressures about the environment that then allows you to maintain a certain fine balance between beability and doability. So you're not overdoing anything. And then your bones, as you're going through different stages of becoming better, growing up pains, and your muscles and coordinating. So you're allowing for the production unit to also happen well enough while you range your awareness between the different departments, bone department, your muscle department, your skin department, um, your different, um, I call it compartments. Otherwise, we have compartment syndrome. Fascia maintains certain compartments, muscle bundle, muscle compartments, and then between your thorax, your pelvis, your abdomen, your um, head, neck, your different limbs, they all have their own compartments from fascia holding the muscles together. But if you're not aware, you don't know which compartment or which department is needing a little, relieve some pressure, a lot of work happening here. So a balance between left and right, your body as an organization, where you are incorporated. It function as an incorporation. Otherwise, you have muscles and not muscles because you're not corpored in your muscles because you're not aware of what's happening in your muscles. Things happening, but you are not incorporated in your muscles such that you can be aware of what your muscles need and how then do you need to support. Also, you have blood corpuscles. You call them corpuscles because the container, you're not contained in your body, in which case you have muscles and corpuscles. The C is not as much present. So, not incorporated. It's kind of like you have a house, but not really there in the house. It's kind of when you're aware of your body, skin, muscle, bones, and you're actually taking care of your organization, your incorporation, and you're functioning from the blueprint, so to speak. Well, you function from the house of your body. Your body is not just a blueprint of the life. No, you have a house. And then you have your memory files, for example, your stars and planets and galaxies and rooms and houses and people, and they all become your mhm, real estate. Yeah. And then you uh, work on taking care of the health, wealth, and wisdom of all people. Yeah, because it's your world. Otherwise, it is somebody else's world. The president or the prime minister or God is supposed to take care of all of that. Yeah. Um, and you start doing lives like this, hoping that somebody's going to be able to understand what you're saying. Yeah. But I am speaking with the language I have. Life has always been talking. It's about who's been listening. So I'm talking by the language of life, universal language of life slash love. I call it MAIs, Meristem Intelligences. MAIs, my language also. So the pubic symphysis helps you know the tension if you're kind of tipping a little forward more than is necessary. Because that would be when your symphysis pubis has a little bony tension. That is when you're aware of the bones about your symphysis pubis. Now, how then do you maintain health if you kind of tipped a little forward in your visions or in the ways you're being or talking? Also requires you to, well, in a seated posture where your bony framework is more rested, you can then, it becomes easier to pay attention to the tension about the bones in this region. So in your chair, in the seated posture, allow the chair to hold your weight, the weight of your bones, the weight of your muscles, no matter where you're sitting. Take the support of the chair, and for that moment that you're sitting, let the weight of the world be also be carryable by the chair, which is also supported by earth. That is, if you're not dangling on a wooden raft or something, yeah, you're on earth, stable ground, not on a river, yeah, bed or something. Then you're on stable ground. Allow the chair and earth um, to be able to carry your weight, because when you're walking, the earth is carrying your weight. Yeah, you're not walking on air. So while you're sitting, standing, just try and relax the weight. It's not exactly let go, but it's more be aware of what is holding your weight if you are not holding your weight. Be aware of what is holding your weight if you are not holding your weight. For which you would need to kind of relax your muscles to see what is holding your weight. Could be the chair, could be the earth beneath the ground. You could also try this when you're standing to see if earth is really holding your weight. Yeah? For which you would need to relax your muscles. You would need to relax your bones. But that would be possible only after you can relax your muscles to know how much weight, how much your bones are holding up. Tensions. That will take a little more while, but you are likely to notice something about your bones. Now you would think, no, your bones can't feel. Well, you'd be surprised what you don't know, or what we have preconceived notions about. For example, you can't feel inside your brain because there are no sensory systems inside the brain. You'd be surprised what you don't know about. And a lot of people have not had reason to think or feel about. But we are working about the brain right now. We're working about the symphysis pubis. And when you can be aware of different tensions in your body, it becomes easier for you to relieve the tension. Yeah, otherwise, you're walking like a loaded gun. And the gun could be in your head, where you're emotionally so tense. You don't know why you're having a migraine, or you don't know why you're having a tension headache. And you don't know where you need to release the tension. Yeah, left side, right side, front, up, down. Once you relieve the tension, you don't know what pain does not have uh, an effect on you. Ooh. And what area is having a little puppet show with your life. Because otherwise, you would be maintaining a lot of drama becomes less. Because your life may be functioning the way it is because somebody else is having the the strings of your life, and the tension is maintained such that you are not able to be, they are not able to be. They are playing this push and pull, yeah, puppet show. The puppet show is only as long as the tension is maintained. And once you can be and can make wiser choices, they would not fall, neither would you. So both that's like two people alive and not surviving life. Tug of war, push pull. Oh my goodness. Narcissism, different kinds of tensions. It's not good for them, it's neither is good for you. Yeah. Now, the pubic symphysis. One of those areas which you can't obviously feel unless you're paying attention to different texture of your tissues and the pain in your different areas. Growing up pains, yes, that is there. When you're growing up, your muscles are aching, yeah, because they go through this different um, movements between cartilage and bone and different kinds of tensions. Yeah, that's also part of. You would think growing up pains is only for kids. Human beings keep going through these life cycles. If if you're doing Nirbeeja Yoga, you will know that your bones are also going through these, um, you know, last cycle of development, uh, apoptosis, poiesis, and then the um, osteoblast or osteoclast. Yeah. So when there is kind of you're digesting, your metabolism is good enough, your bones are also metabolizing old stuff, old stories, such that they are all fresh and nice and kind of rejuvenated. That also requires just like your heart, your stomach also digest food. Then there is acid in your stomach, and then they repair the stomach lining in a healthy body, such that they're not forming ulcers. Yeah, that's also how the stomach maintains health um, of the stomach. Liver also repairs. There's a certain restoration, regeneration. Yeah. So different tissues in their own time go through their self cycles, life cycles in maintaining health. We tend to think of only some parts of the body. Well, the human body moves through these cycles quite regularly. We may not be aware of it. When we are aware of our bodily tensions, then the repair, health maintenance, maintenance, the house you clean, you take care of different details, you have a new interior decoration or new um, season. Yeah, summer, winter. Similarly, there are season in your own house, in your own room, in your own life, where you're reinventing or uh, placing your things differently, and then you have a new place, same life, new place, new activities, new opportunities, new possibilities. What can you do? Similarly, your body regularly rejuvenating, maintaining health, Nirbeeja Yoga style, healthier metabolism. Your bones are also going through their recycle rejuvenation processes. Now, the pubic symphysis is also one such region where the bony tension has a certain, well, past stories, past lives stories, yesterday's, day before's, a few months old stories where your bones haven't really um, digested those stories and then come up with newer stories, then would have a certain tension, old stories, and then while the surrounding tissues may be relatively new. So it's like a forest. Your body is like a forest, different kinds of trees. Yeah, there are old, there is new, there is different. So it's an ecosystem. Yeah, it's a healthy culture. Yeah, where you have new stuff happening. There are also old news, old stories, and then everybody learning from each other. Yeah, it's a fine country, mm, continent. Yeah, container. Vessel. It's a happy place. It's a happy place. Now, the pubic symphysis, not just the pubic symphysis, your whole body is a happy place. Yeah, and then you regularly take care of different parts of your body. Yeah, I have a vacation like anytime in during the day, during work time. any time of the day because I am living in a happy place, a happy country. Yeah. Country is also country. How do you count the different rhythms, your heartbeat, your respiratory rhythm? There are many, many rhythms that your life functions by because a body is a moment in time. Yeah, heartbeat, it's a moment in time. Love is a moment, dub is a moment. So several, like, what do you say, glowworms, ding, 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 ding. See? So um, different times. So when you're paying attention to all of them working in synchrony, all in harmony, then it's quite a nice music. It's just a different kind of music. It's got many kinds of instruments you may not have even thought about having. But a lot of our instruments is from inspirations from the body also. Yeah, and also from nature. Um, Pubic symphysis. Try and pay attention to the bony tension about the front of your pelvis. And then pay attention to the bony tension at the back of your pelvis, just for a balance. And it would help if you're paying attention to these regions in terms of warmth, in terms of softness, because that will allow for your ability to feel the bones. Otherwise, the texture of the bones may not come to your attention as fast. You're more likely to notice other tensions. For example, there could be a sense of excitement, sense of pleasure, because if the pelvic floor is an area that you haven't been paying attention to as much and need to maintain health. So also depending on your activities in the previous day, um, um, yeah, overnight, yeah, and also how long you've been sitting through the day. Now you could pay attention to the pubic symphysis. You have the whole day for it, because I tend to in the calendar that I'm maintaining, there is an entire day for one area. So the pubic symphysis entire area, entire day to maintain health of. So I put up this calendar on my website www.dynamicstillnesses.com on this page named Dailies, on which is the this month, the calendar for this month. And so different days have different parts of the body. Yeah. So for today it is the symphysis. And so during different times of the day, when you're paying attention to this area, try and pay attention in terms of warmth and softness and about the region of the pubic symphysis. So I'm slowly making content on learn.dynamicstillnesses.com. My website is www.dynamicstillnesses.com, and I'm making content on learn.dynamicstillnesses.com. So you courses, individual products, so webinars, and then one-to-one coachings. So different kinds of activities become possible there. So also community is possible. So slowly details. So there's already a course there called Humane Human Foundational Course, Fast Start Bundle. So that'll get you started. It's rupees 499, and it has 5 courses bundled into one. And then, so one of them, there is a 3-day course, yeah, Human 101. And it requires 3 days because it's covering 6 pain points, which is our human everyday experience. When you are a little more comfortable about these pain points, or know how to, or at least are aware of these pain points, you are less likely to be in these pain points, having these pain points, or how these pain points may be having an effect on your life. So you can then focus on other pain points and then work on solving them. Yeah. So it becomes less difficult for you to be. So try that out. Learn.dynamicstillnesses.com. Now, I've highlighted this fast start bundle on that page. Now, the pubic symphysis, when you're paying attention in terms of warmth and softness, The knowing about these 6 pain points then helps you notice these different tissues, because softness and warmth, when you're noticing in terms of these pain points, okay, let's just name it a little bit. Um, Tumor or swelling, dolor or pain, rubor or redness, um, calor or heat, functionalessa or reduced function. And I've also found sonar or sound as one of the pain points by which inflammation is maintained. So when you are, what it takes to go beyond inflammation and these pain points by which inflammation continues to be is has life be more comfortable, easier to live. And then Shrishti optimization becomes more easier once you're addressing some of these existential pain points. Yeah. The sounds you make when in pain versus when um, happy and is different. Yeah. So sounds of health versus sounds of dis-ease, different. All right. The course has certain details about it. It's worth investing at least. Yeah, to that extent. And I keep upgrading content. So the longer you stay invested, the longer you are there um, in the space of dynamic stillnesses, learn.dynamicstillnesses or www.dynamicstillnesses.com, or in mighty spaces, maelstrom intelligence spaces, your health, wealth, and wisdom is likely to get better. And the longer you stay invested, better are the benefits, because there are compounded benefits, compounded interest. And it's a systematic health investment plan where you begin to start moving out of the sick economy to a little more healthy economy, where the stories of your life also begins to start getting better. The weaves, your Rig Veda, Saman Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, that is also your human body composition. Your Veda, your weave of life begins to become, your Veda of life begins to become better, becomes possible. So there are, Nirbeeja Yoga is one of the 4 yogas by which Mighty maintains health. My world, wisdom, intelligence, mightyverse. Yeah, see, it's a mightyverse. All right. Pubic symphysis. Some of the details of the human body, vehicle, home, textbook, oh, country. Now, when you can notice the region of your pubic symphysis, that is the region, the bony structure in the front of your pelvic girdle, reducing the tension about that region requires you to continue to pay attention to warmth and softness. But in terms of tension between the left and right sides of your symphysis pubis, because that is 2 bones mm, placed adjacent to each other by a certain cartilaginous, mm, I can't say it. The gum is a little cartilaginous, but that's a bony structure kind, but it's a cartilaginous bony structure. If it gets ossified, you have a little problem. Yeah, so it's a different kind of a tension, because it can't be too strong, like completely boned, ossified. Neither can it be too soft, because then you would have like your pelvic girdle will kind of accidents. Um, your pelvic girdle tend to sometimes open up like a book. That very difficult. So it needs to be just soft and strong enough such that it contains the structure of your body, but also allows for you to say um, bear your weight on just one side of the pelvic girdle versus the other. And this, like a 3D image of your pelvic girdle, can kind of distort shape a little bit. Not so much that it opens up like a book. That very uncomfortable thought line. Yeah. But um, when you're aware of the tension between the front and back of your pelvic girdle and also the sides, it really helps, because otherwise your bony framework could be a little distorted, like a gift, yeah, wrapped, but the whole thing has gotten a little distorted, yeah, and then you need to restore the shape, which needs to happen pretty regularly, because human beings keep sitting in different shapes and sizes and structures, and we also age on one side a lot of people age on the right side more than the left, because our why, the masculine side of our body, which is the right side, according to also several textbooks, left side being the feminine, we tend to use the right side a little too much. Also because the masculine side um, has been faced by start about the late Triassic era. There has been this mass extinction event, and male genes of the Y chromosome began to start reducing from 900 genes to about 55. And if the right side representing the masculine, and our whole human body formed from father's material, then being able to restore the health of our genetic material is also how we then help his story move forward for the better, because our body is formed from father's material. And then our body took shape into the human form. No, got baked into human body, alive human shape. Otherwise, we would be like mummies in the tomb. No, we are alive people. So um, the Gryffindor, so to speak, yeah, or yeah, Harry Potter series. There's a Gryffindor, there's a Slytherin, there's a Hufflepuff, there's a Ravenclaw. We are a combination of at least these four. So some people behave like more like one or the other because they haven't yet opened or awakened to the other three. You are learning Nirbeeja Yoga. There are three other. Oh no, Nirbeeja Yoga actually is a fine way where you slowly become aware of the Gryffindor, the Slytherin, the Salazar. Okay, the Hufflepuff and the Ravenclaw. Yeah, Ravenclaw is also like a Kakmusundi. Yeah, Crow. Um, and when you are, you should read about Kakmusundi. Yeah, then you'll know about the Ravenclaw a little bit. Otherwise, you will not know the four houses. A pack of cards. We are a pack of cards. And then what card are you then playing your life by also depends on how much you're maintaining a harmony within your own system. So you are a winner, or you're playing to win, lose. I win, you lose. You've already lost if you're playing that game. If you're playing for you win, others lose, you've already lost. And then how do you live where you're not playing that game, but instead are playing a win-win, all around win and continue to win game? What does that take? That's a different set of rules, and how you play that is very, very different. Oh my goodness. It at least takes mighty conscience. Okay. It at least start taking learn.dynamicstillnesses.com. Learn dynamic stillnesses. At least. A world of difference. How much harmony is possible also depends on how much water you can drink. Otherwise you're drinking alcohol or tea or coffee, or um, you cannot eat your meals without some sugar, salt, oil. You are kind of stuck because your taste is dependent on certain ingredients being there. Otherwise, your life is tasteless. These ingredients, you call them uh, green leafy vegetables. They already have salt, mercury, um, sulfur. These are alchemical basics. Salt, mercury, and sulfur, alchemical basics. You have it, life forms have it. It's one of the basics. And then it's about how they interact with other elements. And then, so if you're going to say you cannot eat food without adding salt or oils or sugar, you don't know basic chemistry. You don't know the basic essence and taste of life. Well, you're going to join my classes, you're going to be introduced to life. And it's going to be a pleasure to introduce you to life. It is a beautiful, wonderful construct. Now, you will learn life and different things in a way that you couldn't otherwise. You just got to be introduced to life. Yeah. So, pubic symphysis, maintaining the fine harmony between the left and right sides of the bones of the pubic symphysis, is some of the beauty that you can appreciate on how this human body has been engineered and what all different parts of your body is maintaining health of, no, composition, construct, and hence the departments of your life. Because of how this structure, you can talk about any structure. It could be your tongue, it could be your ears, it could be your heart, it could be your nails, it could be your finger, it could be your kneecap, what have you. Makes possible because you have that body part. Yeah. Whatever bodysuit, time suit you have, you're alive. What you have is not had by, well, let's not compare, because you're your unique make. Now, what your body makes available from the composition you have, if you haven't been busy going and surgically altering it, even so, if you have you didn't attend these lives and you didn't know why you should not go through those surgical uh, corrections, then however your body composition is, to notice you're alive because those body parts are working the way they do, and then you can improve the health of them. It's not about you now developing horns or scales or none of that. A normal, ordinary body composition, restoring health of it. I invite you to download actually both apps. It will be Visible Body and Biodigital Human. So it has human body structure in a digital format. But once you appreciate how the body structures are, then when you're working towards maintaining health, improving your health, and you arrive at normal human body composition, you will see how the story of your life, the composition of your life, begins to have a different experience once normal, ordinary, harmonious living is restored. Yeah, and that's possible. Healing, health also has heal TH as a degree of healing per time. Rome didn't form in a day. Earth didn't form overnight. Yeah. So your body, you've been living with the same body since when you were born, or at least since when you were in your mother's womb. You were a tiny dot, and then over time have formed this human body. You've been living with the same body. Now there are things that you don't know. You also don't know rocket science, but you also don't. A lot of people don't know what's out there in space. They are still peering into space to see what's out there. So there are things we don't know, and now you have this opportunity of knowing your own body in terms of normal, ordinary, harmonious living. Original humane intelligence, where the anatomy and physiology of a humane being, I'm in different stages of making the course of. Yeah, but you're hearing about some parts of it. You have 5 subjects to study. Yeah. That's in the gold membership, gold template membership, where tactics, you learn specific details. Um, it's like technical, the technology, techniques of it. But you learn about the silver, you learn to become the silver lining in the silver membership. But you begin with the L0 foundational course, fast start bundle. And then over time, once you get familiar with going beyond your pain points, there are 5 courses in there. I'm thinking of adding a little more so that you're well settled in your foundation. And then when you come to this silver lining, the silver bundle, silver membership, you begin to become the silver lining of your own life at least. Yeah, that would be, yeah, it would be nice to see. Yeah. Krishna said to me that, no, silver lining, no, dark cloud. Krishna, not silver lining. Yeah. There is Krishna Paksha and Shukla Paksha. So Krishna also led Arjuna to war with cousins. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Yeah. While Arjuna had this knowledge, Marthand, to go beyond the challenges from that, but he was influenced. Yeah, and he didn't know to think for himself, so he was guided by the charioteer. Yeah, the coach. Yeah. So you would need to pay attention to details such that you're not going off into war or getting into a disease, yeah, a discomfort, While Krishna knew how to use the Narayanastra, such that wars were not happening, wars would just stop. But that was not the time for him to teach it. So I'm doing the Narayanastra. Even Krishna, social harmony. You, according to Kala Dharma, you had to go beyond the challenges between cousins, um, people on the same planet. So we are all basically cousins, and you had to go through that time at that time. And now we are in this 21st century where we need to learn to go beyond disharmony within our own body, at least body and in our community, in between humanity across the same planet, same grounds that we share. Um, so that's Narayanastra. So what I'm basically making available to Nirbeeja Yoga is Narayanastra, how to go beyond war-based me versus you, and then going beyond diseases, so that we actually have normal, ordinary, harmonious living, humanity across boundaries, and enlivening life in the multiverse. Once we are done with uh, getting at each other's throats, we have a whole lot of work in becoming healthier, wealthier, wiser. Yeah, you have other things, other problems to look at, to also go beyond your glasses and then to actually see life for what it is, rather than just peering through your microscopes and telescopes and through your glasses. Yeah, where you're not able to see clearly. Okay. So on that note, I will pause about the pubic symphysis. Yeah. If you can pay attention to the warmth, softness, and the texture about your of the bones about your pubic symphysis, you're a little more warming up to the pubic symphysis. We will cover details a little more in the evening. If you are already warming up in the morning, if you join in the evening live 6:30 to 7, you are likely to become a little more aware of your pubic symphysis, which means you would be in a better state of health about your own country. You're taking care of your own body country better than other people know they need to take care or how to take care. They may not even be aware that they are a walkie-talkie country. Yeah. And when the people in their country are doing well, that's one universe who's doing well. Yeah. You don't know where all is your influence, spheres of influence. When you're doing well, people around you who are also doing well because they are under the influence of your genetic material, your body people material, also begins to start breathing healthier naturally because you are living, breathing, doing healthier, natural, humane things, such that you are maintaining normal, ordinary, harmonious living. Their life also begins to start showing up, and you don't know why they are doing well. Yeah, but enjoy the benefits. Oh, there are compounded interests such like that. Yeah, it's a beautiful life. Less tension, more harmony, but more opportunities. People who are doing well have more wellness, more well to deal with, and then you'll need an information management system, which is also why we have books to manage information. If you're writing, then that's a little bit of information you're managing. Yeah. And then we also have computers and we have softwares and to also manage. You can also download OneNote app. There you can also manage information such that between your desktop and your phone, you can use the same information, share the information without having to start all over new. Yeah, you could, while you're walking, you're still carrying your book, but continue to maintain that book. That book is special. What it's holding, containing, is not held by any other books. And then what you're developing as you're writing notes in there, what dots you're dashing there, history is going through archaeological textbooks. Yeah, when they're unearthing another scroll or another artifact, and then they're connecting the dots. That is when they know how to connect the dots. Otherwise, they're looking at one artifact, they're looking at another artifact, don't know how these puzzle pieces are joined together. Yeah, it's like they have Lego pieces and they make their own construct. That need not be how things are. You have that book, hold on to that book. And then there are information management systems. OneNote, for example. There are also Power BI by Microsoft. If you've come to that much of a business intelligence, yeah. So there are Excel tools. Excel is like several word notes in one spreadsheet. Every column is a word. It's a word note. You can put so much text in per word note, and then you can do formulas between word notes. So it's taken some time for an Excel to be developed, for Word to be developed, PowerPoint, um, Office system, Office 365. So you can, so there are many virtual offices also possible. Yeah. Yeah. So many details. So you can also have an infrastructure with lots of people and teams, or you can have a team of several softwares, several people that they are also people because each have their own composition. And then how then you in live in make life better by what you create with the available resources, best use of available resources. Your human body, for example, is one of those information technology, nature's original information technology. You tend to call it as it, information technology. When you pay attention to your pubic symphysis, and for today, the area of body maintained health for today, pubic symphysis, at least that's my determination of the matter. You have your own calendar, but if you take care of your human body, at least give it a day. Yeah. Because then you will notice details through the 24 hours about how that one part of your body is maintaining health. And what's more, you be a man or woman, my son or daughter. Otherwise, you will continue functioning like girls or boys, not quite having substance enough to be called a man or woman. Yeah, big difference, big difference. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been of value to you. Good day.